Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new episode of DarLeeLlama Plays Stoneshard. We just finished up our Jorgrim Greatsword build. That was a very fun run through the game. I'm trying to stick to standard builds for each character. Characters that have something they're particularly good at. For example, Derwin's really good with bows and arrows. He's kind of meant for it because he starts out with that type of stuff. Arna's the most versatile, but she can be a tank. But you know, each character has a certain role they fill out best, even though you don't have to play them that way. So for this new series, we're going to focus on Mage Jonna. So we're going to hit New Game, Adventure. Now there's one particular reason why Jonna makes the best sorceress or mage, and that is because of her unique talent. Her unique talent, which is Arcane Lore, says each learned spell grants +2 magic power. What this means is that all of your damage from magical sources are going to do +2% total damage. So obviously if you're doing 100 damage with a spell, you will get +2 damage. That might not seem like a lot, but overall, when it stacks up high enough, it counts for a lot. And considering that skills aren't simply based upon your straight amount of magic power, it's also based upon some are affected by willpower or other abilities that can increase damage as well. So you're actually increasing your base damage, and the more percent damage you have, the better. The reason Jonna's so good is because you want to not only learn as many spells as possible for her to stack up her magical power that way, you also want to dump into willpower, which gives more magic power. That means Jonna, each level, can get a bonus of 4% magic power if she devotes herself entirely to spells. And that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and get her magic power to be as high as possible, and we want to completely nuke our enemies by the end game. Some other people will vouch by going staves or daggers, because sometimes it's hard to avoid getting into melee combat with some characters. We're going to try and go as hardcore magic as we possibly can. So we'll have plenty of uses of geomanic magic to help us in case we get close to guys, but for the most part, we're going to be using fire as our primary source of damage. So we're going to hit Jonna, hit confirm. Now I am a big proponent of going around the map and doing points of interest in the beginning of the game. And the reason being is that you can get a big head start. And it also gives you a lot of XP and a lot of levels before you even touch the main parts of the game. Well, you may say, well, that's not how the game is meant to be played. The game, to me, is open world. You can play it any way you want. And if you play it any way you want, I feel like going out and exploring not only makes you better overall in general, but it gives you added experience. And I'm not talking about game experience. I'm talking about experiencing surviving, right? New players often will seem to complain over the fact that they find the game to be really hard. They go in, they just get killed. And that's because they're trying to run this giant gauntlet that those early dungeons represent. They're running a gauntlet of fighting that they might get overwhelmed with. They haven't developed skills to play the game and simply survive. And considering they're playing on adventure mode to begin with, where dying isn't as big of a deal, it's kind of heartbreaking to them because they're getting so far. They feel like they're getting far behind. So I feel one of the best ways to combat that is to go off and basically experience the game on your own. So the leatherworker is going to be our major armor supplier. You probably don't want to upgrade Jonna's special casting bracers simply because they give so many good things for her, like magical power, cooldown reduction, stuff like that. So we're going to leave this slot alone and we'll never enchant it. We'll eventually upgrade Jonna's mantle because there are better mage armors in the game. While we go out and about, we'll be on the lookout for the witch's hat, which will be an overall bonus for us. And then there are 2 locations that give bonus or better staves that we can use, at least to my knowledge. There's the witch's hut, which gives the witch's staff, and then there's a random magical staff in the abandoned garden manor. So we'll be looking for that as well. So our primary upgrades are probably going to be the belt. Unfortunately, they don't have belts for sale right now, which is super odd. And boots. Well, we can't afford the best boots for us right now, the tan boots, so we're just going to basically ignore it for now. Let's sell our wooden gear here. Don't need any of that. We already have a base backup staff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and buy some basic medical supplies. You always want to try and buy basic medical supplies before you do any other purchasing, aside from maybe the armors I was talking about. So you need to have a splint, typically. I'll be honest, Stardust is good / not good. Alcohol tends to be a better pain reliever. The bonus that you get to morale tends to not offset the negative to sanity. So I'm thinking we're just going to sell the Stardust. So we have a splint, we have healing salves, we have lockpicks. What we don't have are bandages. We need to pick up some of those. Antitoxin will be nice. And I like leeches. Leeches are a good replacement for the splint, and they heal a lot more. Plus, I believe they're usable in limbs without them being damaged, whereas the splint can only be applied to injured body parts. So we have our stuff. I also want to pick up an ID scroll because we're going to be going around and picking up a bunch of unidentified stuff, and that's going to be handy to have. Now we're going to come up here. Let's take a quick drink, make sure our water skin's filled up. We want to buy food. Now, the best food in the early game is going to be bread. The bread is pretty much only sold over here in the inn and tavern, unless you want to go over to the left to the mill. I don't need that much bread since we already have 2 cheeses. We're going to buy some more cheese and bread for our long journey. More bread, more cheese. And then we're going to pick up some basic alcohol so that for our pain management. 1 mage shall do it. That's 20 points of pain management and a dose of 2, and we're good to go. I'm going to make the chest our food larder for when we pick up food out in the wild and bring it back. And this will be our trophies, and then up here will be our spare equipment. I don't have anything I want to enchant, so we're just going to pop our enchant scroll in there until we get better items to enchant. And then we'll deal with it. Now, with the addition of new quests, we can come over here, and he wants brandy. Do you have any word for me? He wants brandy. And if we give it to him, he'll give us a very nice amulet early in the game. Since we have so much spare gold, and there's a brandy for sale, I think we'll just go ahead and pick up the necklace. So, finish your task. We get it. It's a Fang Amulet. The Fang Amulet gives 2% physical resist, 2 nature, 2 magic. So really great resistances overall. Plus 2 critical chance, plus 2 counter chance. Very nice. The critical chance will help with our magical spells. The rest are defensive except for the counter chance. We probably won't get a lot of use out of the counter chance, but that's not that big of a deal. It's better than nothing. Now we could go ahead and enchant it, but we may find a magical Fang Amulet when we go to the Witch's Hut. So that's not that big of a concern. So we're going to be looking for points of interest. Points of interest are going to be where we're going to find all the good stuff. It looks like our best route will be north to hit this one, west to hit that, and then we'll trek all the way down to the south. Or we can just turn around and start hitting these. I'm thinking, in fact, we will do northwest, we'll hit this, then this, then this, then that, then that, and then go to Manshire. Since we're traveling near the graveyard, we're going to go pick up, well, it looks like we can't pick it up because Bert might be kidnapped. So otherwise, I would go pick up a shovel. And in fact, we're going to go over to the graveyard and see if we can't get some goodies out of the ground. If you manage to find something really nice, that's great. But unfortunately, a lot of the super rare stuff you won't be able to use early in the game because it's going to be so damaged and you need to spend a lot of money to repair it. So skill point wise, we're going pure spells. We're going to try and completely ignore everything else. Staves are actually a very powerful weapon tool, but again, I don't think we want to do that. We're going to try and not do it. We're going to try and focus purely on sorcery. Again, some may call me a fool for doing that, but I want to try and get as much magic power as possible. So let's go Fire Barrage. That's going to be our standard fire spell. It was featured in the prologue of the game. Launch 3 fire bolts at the target, dealing 7 damage each. Deals bonus damage to burning targets, and it gives us 2.5% pyromantic power. The more pyromantic power that you have, in addition to magical power, the higher damage you'll do overall. It basically counts as another source of damage, or damage increasing, but only for fire spells. Then we have a choice between Feed the Flames and Ring of Fire. I am a fan of Ring of Fire, because Ring of Fire has a high chance of igniting the target when it's right up on you, and it deals big damage, and then when you combo it with the Fire Barrage, most things will die. So we're going to get Ring of Fire. So we have 2 basic attack spells, 1 short range, 1 close, or 1 mid-range, 1 close range. So it looks like we're going directly northwest every time. So that's what we're going to do. We already found a hidden grave, or a grave out in the wild. We're just going to go ahead and dig it up, even if it does mess our hands up a bit. And it'll take a little long. Because we're not coming back in this direction for a while, it's better to just go ahead and do it now. When we get to the grave, hopefully we'll find a shovel. If we find a shovel, we'll dig up the graves. If we don't find the shovel, I'm not going to bother with it. So we did find a few things. We don't have a belt, so actually taking this belt is worthwhile. And we found a purse with 21 gold and some rope. Well, rope's not really used aside as a sell item, so we're not going to bother taking it. And in fact, I'll just put the purse back in there. If I ever come by this way again, there'll be a spare purse. So with Firebolt, we actually have the ability to hunt fairly well. I'm going to take every opportunity that I can to hunt animals. Simply because that's going to be such a cut in our overall food bill. And it reliably hits quite often. Yep, that should do it. So that gives us deer antlers. We may as well pick it up. It's treasure and fatty meat. I really don't like carrying around the pelts because it takes up so much room. And look, the deer antlers are almost as much to sell, and it's only 2 spaces compared to 6. If it were I was going back and forth and hunting from town to wilderness, I might take it and go sell it. But I think right now it's just better to ignore those kinds of things. I see 2 wolves. I do want to take wolves on if at all possible, but I only want to take them on one at a time. I have failed to do so. But we have a lead on them. I'm going to pass one. Firebolt. Run. Let's firebolt again. He'll be within dash range now. So now we're going to Ring of Fire. Unfortunately, he was not set on fire. He still has 30 HP. We're forced to hit him. Now, he did get put on fire, but unfortunately we already used our firebolt. We can't use it again. We're just going to have to fight him while he's on fire. So we managed to come out of that at half health. We have alerted another wolf. We're going to have to run for it. Alright, I don't think I'm going to get away from this guy, so we're going to turn around and fight. We're going to run into our spells good. We'll step up. We'll let him get to us. We're going to use our Ring of Fire. He's on fire. And then we're going to use our Firebolt, which again deals more damage if he's on fire. 17 points per shot, 3 hits is 51 damage. He didn't stand a chance. So what we can do is we're surrounded by fire. We don't want to sit on that, but we do want to rest up. So let's just rest. The fire will go away. We can get our HP back. So we are in pain. We're going to go ahead and drink some mead. That gets rid of the pain. As long as you don't see the pain icon up here, you're pretty golden. Don't worry about residual pain. See, we still had like about 5-10%, and it goes down because we rested. We're hungry, so let's go ahead and eat some cheese. Cheese will spoil faster than your bread. Bread's the last thing you want to eat. We're not thirsty enough. I like to use the canteen or the water skin when it hits 25%. That's when you're best off doing it. You might be wondering why I'm not picking up sinewy meat. It's just because we have access to better meat. When you can hunt the deer or moose or anything that drops fatty meat or tender meat like rabbits, you don't need to... What's the word I'm looking for? You don't need to settle for sinewy meat. Sinewy meat are for people who don't have dashes or long-range capabilities. Our Jorgrim run was a good example of that until we finally hit our heroic charge. And then when we actually managed to hit our heroic charge, Saiga was safe from us. And it was Steakums all day after that. There's some flea wart. They finally patched in flea wart with this most recent patch, 5.88. So that people will finally be able to find flea wart in the open world again. But I don't intend to do that quest at the moment, so I'm just going to ignore it for now. I know a lot of people are fans of picking up a ton of herbs and stuff like that. I think only at the moment some herbs are useful and worthwhile picking up all the time, like Mindwort. Until they add some kind of alchemy or crafting, I'm not going to be as big a fan. So this should be where our first point of interest is. We should be right here. We've already aggroed one guy. That's good. This guy is not aggroed, so we can pull him away and kill him safely. He will follow us because he had the alert sign. I'll lure him down to the tree, and then I'll turn around. We'll get a little bit of damage. I know this guy doesn't have any ability to charge ahead to us, so it's pretty safe. We'll step up on him, Ring of Fire. He'll get one shot on us, and then he's dead. We'll rest up. Now you gotta be somewhat careful when you rest because your vision becomes so short when it happens. If you made too much noise, people might come looking for you like wolves or something like that. And that can be dangerous, especially if you get caught unawares. So we're just going to kite this guy completely. Take 1, 2, 3 steps, however much you need to get your firebolts back. He's still not dead, but he's taken so much damage. Let's inspect him. 2% left. This will definitely kill him. Or we can take a swing at him. Swing will spare us the use of the skill. The skill will guarantee the kill. Let's guarantee the kill. Now we rest. The fire goes away. We got some energy back. We're good to go. Now I do want to actually drink, particularly because light hydration is bad for mages. As you can see, spells energy cost goes up big time, and you lose magic power percentage too. I'm not sure it did that before, but it definitely does it now. So we're gonna drink to get rid of that negative buff. We'll hit him with the firebolt. 1, 2, 3. 27 damage. Take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Do it again. He's on fire, which is great. Unfortunately, it doesn't last very long. I think we need that other talent to make it last longer. We fumbled that one, so it was only standard damage. What's he at? 6%. So if we step to the sides, he's going to step on us regardless. But if we use the Ring of Fire, it should be an auto kill. If it doesn't kill him, he's on fire, and we can hit him, finish him off with Firebolt. It killed him. You will see something like this happens every now and then, where the corpse prevents the fire from spawning in that space. I guess maybe it just, the blood gushes out of him and puts the fire out or something. It's kind of silly, but I take it. It just means I don't have to wait for the fire at the end. So that was a random group of enemies. We are looking for the point of interest. One interesting thing about point of interest is that up to now, at least from my experience, they may patch it in the future or not. If you don't see animals or any other enemies at a point of interest, then it's likely to be, or guaranteed to be, a actual unique point of interest, like one of the various unique places like the Witch's Hut or the Leprosarium or something like that. That's if you don't see any enemies. If you do see enemies, that means the point of interest by default must be a bandit camp. Bandit camps are often good because they have, most of the time they'll have a chest. And if you get the chest, you can just open it up, get some nice treasure from the opening. Or you can even rest there, because every bandit camp will always have a rest area. And then you can just reload until you get something really good. You can get some quick money that way. I'm not going to be doing that route. I'll take whatever's going in there, or whatever it gives me. I'll take whatever it gives me from the get-go. I'm not going to try and save scum it. We'll try and do this run as legit as possible, just so that you can see I'm not trying to cheese my way through the game, so to speak. So this guy's pretty stubborn. Now that he's on us, by the way, beginners, you don't want to just walk away from him. He'll get pot shots on your back, and that's not good. You want to prevent people from dealing damage to you. So use your inspect. He's at 7%. He's guaranteed dead to this spell. So be careful when you're stepping away from there. You may accidentally step in your own fire and set yourself on fire. You don't want to do that. So he dropped some flatbread for us. Flatbread has a shelf life of 4 days. So again, the cheese is still going to be a better eat for us. So let's eat the cheese. We'll save the flatbread, put it in the category of the bread. Now the good part about actually finding this bandit camp for me is that I have a raw piece of meat and I want to be able to cook it. That meat will restore 40 points of hunger, and that's really worthwhile to have. Tender meat is good too. So I would actually say better because it's only 1 point. I mean 1 space and it restores 30%. So this guy's really close. If I were to do the Fire Barrage, he will just simply dash on me. The dash won't let him do damage, but he will be on me. I'm thinking it's better to combo with the Ring of Fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass a turn with space. He's on me. Let's Ring of Fire. He's on fire. We hit the combo. And he's dead. Now the problem is we may be too close to where his other wolf pack is, so we're just going to rest really quickly. As soon as the fire is gone, I'm going to unrest and get away from that spot. I don't want the wolves to catch me unawares. Right now, we're just trying to clear all of this fog of war and look for this bandit camp. I want to get the bandit camp pretty badly right now. So we're thirsty again. Again, thirst is very bad for mages. Drink up. Now when you do find the bandit camp, beware. Because there will of course be bandits living there. And you will have to fight them. So if you're not prepared for such a thing, make sure you think twice before approaching. You want to be at full health and have as much energy as possible. Just don't get caught unawares. Now, I don't typically get lost when I play this game. But I've gotten lost before, and I've gotten lost really badly. You can look at my Jorgum run for one particular playthrough where I got super lost. It was not fun. Alright, we found the bandit camp. We've already aggroed the spear guy. We're just going to meet him head on. We need to refresh our spell before we let him jump on us. I think we'll get one more volley on him before we have to let him come to us. So he's going to dash on us. We may as well step up on him. Hit him with this. And then hit him with the combo. And he died. That leveled us, so we got all of our HP back. Level 2. Very nice. So again, I want to get my magic power as high as possible. So we're going to stack it all on the willpower. And then we're going to go over here. We only have access to the first book level of Pyromancy. We'll need to get book level 2, 3, and then 4 before we can access all those skills. Same goes for Geomancy. When we finish Pyromancy, because Pyromancy is going to give us the most synergy bonuses right now, since we already have 2 points into it. That's going to benefit us the most. But then I'm going to come over to Geomancy, and I'm going to get Stone Armor. Stone Armor is a great skill for when you get in the dangerous spots where you have to be right next to them. On a previous playthrough, I actually recommended taking it as your 3rd skill point. But I think for now, Feed the Flames is going to be more beneficial. So, let's get Feed the Flames. What that does is it makes fire burning last longer. Ah, crap. I went too far. Let's hide behind this tree trunk. Pass a turn. He's in range. Shoot him. And then since they're coming from the northeast, let's go southwest. Get our magic back. Alright, there's a tree here and a tree here. It wouldn't be that bad to meet them right here. So I'm going to stay right here. Pass. Pass. Hit him with the old Ring of Fire. What's he at? 9%? He'll burn to death if I let him. So let's hit him with this. Let's try and finish him off with a Staff Swing. He set himself on fire like an idiot. We'll hit him with a Staff Swing. Staff Swing. He stunned us. That's bad. We can't perform any actions. We're a sitting target. 2 turns. Well, it worked out for us. He did very little damage, and we managed to get a counterattack off on him. What's he at? 2%? So 1 single swing, or we'll just fire him down to death. Honestly, if you can, always try and use your magic over physical attacks. If you can finish them off, simply because it has a higher rate of being able to hit them. So, that being said, there are bugs in the game, and I've died to bugs where I've aimed magic at enemies, and it will instead hit a door or a table that's in the way. So, you have to keep in mind for that, but that's not something you'll typically run into when you're right next to them. I hope. Alright, we open it. 37 gold and a skin. This is an awful roll. I don't want skins. So, throw it on the ground. I'll never use it. We're going to come over here and we're going to cook. And then we're going to rest. I want to rest for about 9 till 9. 3 to 9. That's 6 hours. Reason being, it gets us to daytime. 1. 2. It gives us this nice vigorous buff. And considering we have this nice chunk of meat, we can eat it and drink, and we're good to go. So, now that we've found the camp, there's really no reason to hang around here. So we're going to go ahead and head towards this next point of interest. But that's going to be for our next episode. I hope you guys had as much fun playing along with me as I've had playing along with you. Really happy doing these series. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. I can help, and I try to respond to all the comments if at all possible. Please like and subscribe. It helps me. Even if you never come back to the channel in the future, doing so would be a really nice thing, and I would appreciate you. That being said, take care, stay safe, and have a wonderful day. Next episode, we're heading off to more points of interest, and I'll see you then. Bye. Peace.